Hello, everybody. My name is Susan LaCroix. This is my wonderful daughter, Julie Davison. We are demonstrators with Stampin' Up. And we've been demonstrators with Julie next week. Will
Yes.
be 1-year anniversary. Anyway, we live 2 states apart and decided to get together and start this video series, Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie. So we've been doing it just a bit over a year now, and we're having so much fun. And we just love doing this and then sharing our projects with you and giving you some tips and tricks along the way and just having a ball. So Jay, how are you?
I'm good. I was just thinking it's so good to connect each week, because sometimes we would go a while before even talking, but we would go months without stamping together. And so I just love having this opportunity to do it every week, even though sometimes we record 2 in 1 week and we kind of work ahead a little bit, but it's still so much fun to connect like this more regularly. Absolutely. I just love getting a chance to stamp together. I have been good. It has been busy. It just never slows down.
Not with 4 kids.
I feel like I say that every week. It's busy. We just got back from a little trip. It was sort of just a short little midweek trip to Indiana. And actually we stayed at the house where we did our little girls weekend back in the fall. And we had booked that house for on stage as well, but they were out in the country and the Wi-Fi wasn't really great. And so it just wasn't going to work out for on stage. So we had switched the on stage weekend and we moved it to the summertime. So we did a midweek. It was Monday through Thursday. So just literally 3 nights, 2 full days, and met up with Amy and her family. And so it was so nice. The kids really loved getting away, and it was hotter than heck, but it was still just so good to be together. And again, it was so short. There's never ever enough time.
Never. But cousin time is so important. And
oh my gosh, yes.
They really truly do live for cousin time. And it makes my heart happy that they want to be together and enjoy each other. So, and I guess because they don't live very close together, so they don't get to see each other. It's like that saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder kind of a thing. So
it's so true. I think it would be different if we lived closer. But it is special. I mean, they only get to spend time with their cousins just a few times a year. We try to cram in some extra visits over the summer because schedules are just a little, freer without school and everything. And I'm hoping we can do one more cousin weekend with the kids at your house, because they used to do camp every week at the Henry Ford in Greenfield Village. And so they've all aged out of that now, and they're missing that week at your house. They all of them, all 6 of them are just we want to, because they have little things that they do at your house and the park nearby, and all their little fun things that they love to do.
Sleeping in sleeping bags and
exactly. It's so special. So I'm hoping we can do that before school starts. Of course, the Michigan and Illinois school schedules are not very compatible. We start really the middle of August, and we get done before Memorial Day. And in Michigan, you guys don't start until after Labor Day, and then they don't get out until the middle of June almost. And so in the summertime, we have 6 weeks or something like that of a window between when they're both out of school and we don't have marching band and all that other stuff.
Softball and and now that Tom and Miles have graduated, jobs and Let's move on to stamping.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, last week we showcased more of a masculine bundle with the Brood for You. And I feel like we're on the opposite end of the spectrum with this week's product. So let's flip the camera around and reveal our featured suites. So we're using the Abigail Rose. I'm going to turn on my light here. Oh, there it is. Abigail Rose. This you should be introducing this, sweet mom, because I feel like this is you. Like this is shabby chic and just so pretty and detailed.
I have used this a lot. It's my go-to suite right now, you know, and it's like, okay, move away from Abigail Rose.
Yeah.
Use other things.
Oh, we have so many fantastic bundles suites, and this is one of them. So as always, there's one item number to get the whole suite, but the suite includes the stamp set dies, designer paper, and also this fun ribbon. So I'm going to move the catalog out of the way so I can show you. Here's the ribbon. It is, it's very wide, but it's really soft. I think even more so than it looks like in the catalog. To me, it looks really stiff, like almost like burlap, but it really is very, really soft and I think easy to use. So we've got this designer paper. I guess I'll start there. It's a 12 by 12 designer paper, which I've just cut down so that I can show you a little bit easier. The colors here are crumb cake, early espresso, some whisper white, I think a little very vanilla, and then also some petal pink in there. So this is like a
spreadsheet, a ledger.
Yeah, like you said spreadsheet. I was thinking, to me, it reminds me of like a library card, like a log book, like that kind of thing. I just love these soft florals and leaves and really great patterns. This one here is my favorite. I think I just love the contrast between the background with the texture and then the white flowers. And this one actually coordinates with one of the dies. So we have a great stamp set and die set, and the die, the big die, coordinates with this one and lines up. Let me see if I can get that just right. There it is. Yeah, I don't know how well you can see that, but I didn't realize that at first. So you can cut that out, all those little pieces with the die, and then use them on your project. So we've got some detailed dies, also some dies that cut out the images. Lots of great stuff. This is a rubber cling stamp set. I love the detail on the flowers that you can color or just keep them black and white. And then we have some really great sentiments. You are positively the greatest. My very favorite ever, besides thinking of you, is best wishes, because it covers everything. Birthdays, retirement, weddings. And then we've got some other ones. It's going to be fab, friends forever, feel better soon, and happy birthday. Well, we went on that trip to Utah. We went on a little demonstrator retreat, and a lot of people used the Cottage Rose bundle and the Abigail Rose Suite for their swap cards. So I have a few of those to share. Mom and I've got the same cards. This one's from Pam McLean. She added some Wink of Stella. I don't know how well you can tell in the plastic there. This one's gorgeous. There's no name on it, so I'm not sure who made this one. And Mom's got another version. We were trying to figure out if it was the same card, and it is different colors and different paper, but it's the same kind of layout, and we're pretty sure it's from the same person. So that one's really pretty with the posy embossing folder in the background. Oh, here's a beautiful layered one by Amy Combs with the petal pink in the background, some detailed die cuts in the crumb cake tag. And then, oh, this is pretty from Susie Wood, black and white. So we've got the stamps in the corner and then the die cut one on the stitched square. Such a great card, but I've been using this one a little bit as well. In fact, we did some mystery stamping with the Jubilant Stampers, and so this was the card that I created. Kim always does such a great job, my upline Kim Peck, with doing the mystery stamping cards. So it's hard to tell, but I got a little petal pink stamped flower there in the background with the die cut over the top. And then Kim did another mystery stamping with the Impeccable Stampers team. And so this was the same pieces. I just assembled them in different ways. So this is the first one that I made. And I added a little Wink of Stella to the center of that flower. And this is the new label punch. And then Mom shared her project on the Zoom. And so I put my other pieces together this way. And I really love how you had put that white piece across the center. So I used the smoky slate with the petal pink on that one. one last sample, and then I'm going to switch it over to you, Mom. I love casing the catalog. You guys know that. And so here's one that I cased from the catalog. It's right here, this sample. It's going to be fab. And so I die cut with that big die, and then I put the designer paper underneath it. I used some Stampin' Dimensionals to add a little dimension, and I incorporated some of that ribbon underneath. And I loved this sample here in the catalog, how you could stamp on the ribbon. And Mom, I think you've got some stamped to show us. I haven't actually tried that myself yet. So let's switch the camera over so you can show us what that looks like.
All right. So when I was working on my swap for Utah, I just kind of unspooled this and just kept stamping as I went, and then I respooled it. So I had it all ready to go. So it's really easy to stamp on. So let me show you the sample. And I think I've showed this here before. So this was my swap for Utah. I just love that. Yeah, I do too. I mean, I had to make like 78 of them, but I just loved it and got some nice feedback on it too. So I like all the layers and stuff. So this is probably my favorite. Now you mentioned Kim's mystery stamping. So this was my version of her mystery stamping. I used that new circle die and some of the early espresso and crumb cake on this. So this was my, I'm on a camera here.
I love those colors, the crumb cake and the earliest, and that paper is one of my favorite patterns from the Abigail Rose set.
Yeah. So this is the swap that I got that is very similar to Julie's. So again, we think it's the same demonstrator that did it, but it's so pretty. You know, again, she's got lots of layering here and just the texture with the posy embossing folder. I don't know if you can see it very well on the.
Yeah. And that's that Happiness Abounds stamp set with the sentiment and then the rose, but that rose goes really great with the paper too.
It does. It really, truly does. All right. So let me show you what I'm going to make today. So let me pull all my stuff in here. So I'm starting with a piece of 11 by 4 1/4, and this is the Petal Pink, and I've scored it at 3 inches, 5.5 inches, 8 inches, and 9.5 inches. So I don't know if you can see that. We'll put all the measurements and the score lines in our description. The next piece I have is kind of the card base, which I'm using Smoky Slate, 5.5 by 4 1/4. And to add a little texture, I ran it through the stitched greenery embossing the die. But then it kind of felt flimsy to me. So I trimmed it down to 5 1/4 by 4, and we're going to glue it onto it just for some stability. And then I've got some designer series paper pieces as well. So I have this one at 4 by 2 3/4. And then the striped at 4 inches by 2 1/4. And then this little kind of faded flower piece, 4 inches by 1/4. Then I have a piece of basic white at 4 inches by 2 1/4. So lots of little pieces. Again, the measurements will be in the description. So why don't we go ahead and kind of get started here. So I'm going to just fold the card base up. And let's see, I want to go this way.
This was a card that you were inspired by. It was one of the swaps that we got in Utah, right?
It was, absolutely. And I can't remember the name of the demonstrator. Where's my bone folder? Oh, well, pretend I have a bone folder.
Use a marker.
Yeah. Watch me get the marker all over it.
Oh, no.
It would be my luck, right? So yes, I can't remember her name. But she used the He's the Man suite, and I can bring it out. It's across the table, but I can go grab it if you want to see it with a different paper. So, all right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my 4 by 2 3/4 piece, and I'm going to go ahead and put that down. And I'm working backwards a little bit here. As long as I'm in camera, Julie, you'll tell me if I'm not right.
Yeah. I think as long as you're on your grid paper, you're good.
Okay. All right. So this one is I'm going to stamp this real quick. with Smoky Slate. And it's going to be fab. All right. We're going to add to that in a little bit, but I wanted to go ahead and get that stamped and get that on our card. All right, next is going to be our striped. And I chose to have it go vertical.
This is such a great card for showing off lots of coordinating designer paper.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I haven't used the Smoky Slate Petal Pink version at all. So I wanted to use these colors. So this is going to go here. So I'm going to leave that to just plain. Let me make sure I have this right side up. I'm going to get ink all over this. I just know it. All right. So that piece is done. I'm going to then put this on. But actually, I'm going to use liquid glue because of all these little pieces. I want to make sure it sticks really well. My favorite adhesive. I haven't been using it much lately.
Right. I have some stampers that tell me they use it all the time and they think of you and they do. They're like, oh, I'm using your mom's favorite adhesive.
That's great. I love it. All right, so I'm going to use some tear and tape because I've got lots of layers here.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a ton of pieces of dimensional packets right in my little basket. Oh, it does kind of flop over and it will kind of stick up and stuff, but it's so pretty. You're going to love this.
I was just thinking you could add ribbon around the card. You did a similar card last month or a couple months ago where you had the ribbon tied around to hold it closed.
Yep, it crossed my mind briefly. No, come on. All right. Now we're going to put this on here.
Nice.
Coming together. So now I want to work on the design elements. So I die cut. Oh, come on. I die cut out from the new.
Stylish shapes.
Or did I use? No, yeah, it's stylish shapes. Okay. So I am going to take some black and the leaves. Just stick it right here. Bam. And then I'm going to do some blends. So I'm going to start with the dark. This is the dark smoky slate. And just to kind of do the veins a little bit, add a little shade. I feel like I've colored these leaves so far in succulent and all kinds. All right. Come over it with the light and fill it in. So rather than just kind of push some color, I'm actually coloring all of it. And to save time, I went ahead and did the flowers. So I'll bring those out in just a minute.
It's so funny that you start with the dark because I usually do the opposite where I start with the light and then I add a little dark for some shading.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no right or wrong way. It's just what your preference is.
Mm-hmm.
Claire, she's the master blender.
She adds so many layers of color. She She does one and then she does another and then she goes back to the first. I don't remember if she starts with light or dark, but
I
she
don't either. But
she goes over it several times.
this is so true. All right, so then what I do is I did some flowers. So I was trying to decide how many flowers, and I ended up just putting like one right here, and I could have gone up higher with my leaves, but oh well. So I'm going to throw a dimensional on here, pop this up. Right there. And I used the light, and then I put some dark in the center, and just a little bit for interest. And then I decided to do the happy birthday. So I'm going to just cut this. And I debated about doing the banner cut, but I think I'm just going straight across. All right, so now we're going to put this. Oh, well, let's do this first. Oh, I got a little ink there. So I'm going to just stick a, you know what? Let me do this. Do a little leaf. I should have done this. Doggone it.
You said I'll do some more later, and I thought, are you sure you want to glue it down? But I didn't want to say anything.
All right, so I've just got a piece of card. Oh, well, you know what? I'm gonna go this way. Oh, this isn't good. This isn't good. Let me just cover that up. Don't try this at home, people. No.
Well, I've done this before. I like how you're just covering up the edge so you don't get any. That's so smart. See, it looks great. You did good.
Yeah. All right, so I think I'm just going to put a little guy right here. Just to put a little tie in the flowers. Okay,
Nice.
so now that that piece is done, and so now I can go back to the front and glue this on. And so I'm just going to put some of the adhesive right here. I'm going to be able to open my card. And then this guy is just going to go over here. Maybe I'll go down. Yeah, I'm going to go down.
I like it.
Just a little bit on the edge to catch it. There, and now let me just, of course, add my bling, because yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do maybe one over here.
It's like the elegant faceted gems.
Yes, I can't tell you how many packages of this I've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
It just lends to shabby chic so well.
Yeah, I think those are my favorite too.
I think so. Guy up here, and there it is.
Oh, that's so pretty. I love the colors and all the paper.
Yeah,
it's gorgeous. Well, I pulled out the swap card. It was Lisa Miltakis.
okay.
And I can show it on camera if you'd like, or if you have it close by.
You know, if you have it handy, then you can show it to show what she did with it. But yeah, I just absolutely love this layout, and I'm going to use it again, like tomorrow. It might be with some new paper. So
gorgeous.
Thank you. All right, Jay, are you ready?
Yeah. Do you have any other samples to share, or is that it?
I think did I share? I shared them.
I think so too. I just wanted to double check. Okay, well, let's change it over here so you can see. Here's Lisa Miltakis's card. She used the He's All That Suite with the painted texture background. with the embossing folder. And then we've got the To a Great Guy in there. So this is from He's All That. And then this one is from the Wildlife Wonder set. But I love the juxtaposition of the two. Your card is very feminine and shabby chic. And this one is a little bit more masculine with the Cajun craze and early espresso and the Sahara sand.
I actually cased her card just as she did it, except for the inside greeting, because I don't have that stamp set, and a workshop.
Wonderful.
They loved it. They said, oh, we got some, between Father's Day coming up and some birthdays in their family. They were just thrilled to get it. So, and I said, you've got a sneak peek of the card layout that I'm doing. So,
well,
anyway.
I'm going to show you what we're making, and then I'm going to show you how to make it. So I don't know what this is called. I've always just called it a fun fold card, but I was looking through some old tutorials for Project Playback, and this was one of them that I came across. And this was one of my first video tutorials, like literally 10 years ago.
Wow.
And like I said, I just called it a fun fold card, but it has sort of this like, accordion kind of like pop-up thing, but I just love the way that turned out. So it's not really that hard. It's all about marking and cutting the diagonals. So in my original tutorial, I used the diagonal score plate on the Stampin' score, but we don't have that anymore. So this is an updated tutorial for the regular paper trimmer. We're starting with a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 9 3/4 inches. So this is going to be our card base, and I've already scored it at 5 1/2. So that's just sort of your standard card score. But if you were to fold it, you would notice that it's just a little bit shorter than the standard card. Well, the number that you need to keep in mind for this card is half. So we're going to go half of the card width, which is 4 1/4, and half of that is 2 1/8. So I'm marking the card at 2 1/8 on either side of the score line. So I'm going to mark a little notch on this side, the top and bottom, and just using a pencil, and then also 2 1/4 from the score line the opposite direction. So again, just making a little pencil marks from the side so that I know where that is. Now, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it on camera, but I've got a mark here and I've got a mark here on either side of the score line. So now I'm going to take the scoring blade on the paper trimmer, and I'm going to line up opposite corners. So I got the mark right here and the mark right here lined up in my score track. And I'm going to take the lighter blade, the scoring blade, and score that. And then I'm going to do the opposite direction with the other two little marks that I made and score. Now, I don't have an eraser on the pencil here, but you can use an eraser to erase your pencil mark if you were if you made a really dark mark. So this is then the card base. We're going to fold on each of the diagonals and then kind of push in to create this this top. But you'll notice that it doesn't look exactly like this. We need to trim the corners a little bit. So we're going to make another mark again at the halfway point, which is still 2 1/8. And I'm going to make that mark with the pencil. And then we're going to cut from the score edges here to that center mark. And that's just going to kind of square out our diamonds. And so you're going to do it on each side. So there's the first piece and lining those up in the score line, the second piece. And so now you have that diamond in the front. I guess you could call this like a pop-up diamond card.
Sure, sure.
Okay, well, now we need a piece for the inside. So we're going to do a little more fancy work with our paper trimmer. This is the regular 4" by 5¼ piece that you would normally put in a card, but obviously it's not going to fit. We need to add a little diamond at the top. So we're going halvesies again, and we're going to mark this card at 2 inches because 2 is half of 4 inches. And so I'm just making a mark right here, and then I'm going to turn it. And at 2 inches again, I'm going to make the marks on the sides. And now I'm going to cut from the center mark to the side mark on each side, kind of like what we did with the front flap, just cutting off those corners so that it fits inside of the card base. Again, if you have visible marks, you can just erase them. All right, I'm done with the paper trimmer. Let's put that aside, and this will fit just perfectly inside our card base. So let's add that. If I were going to do some stamping, I would do that now. I actually, for the front of the card, I chose the sentiment, feel better soon. And there's not really like a second sentiment that matches that in this stamp set. So I'm just gonna leave the inside blank so that I have room to write a message. I will add some designer paper. The bottom piece is 1 by 4, and then the smaller piece is 1/2 inch by 4. And those are just going to go on the bottom of the card. I love that you'll be able to see them from the front, but also from the inside of the card as well. Okay, coming together really nicely. This square measures 3 inches. So the square that we're going to layer inside is 2 3/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches. And we'll have all the measurements in the video description for you. I'm going to add that with some regular glue. And I have pre-stamped and colored the Cottage Rose image. I just love this one. I used some sponge daubers to color Petal Pink and Pear Pizzazz on the flower and the leaf, but the flower itself is stamped in early espresso. And then I added a little Wink Estella in the center as well.
Very pretty.
That's going to go on with some Stampin' Dimensionals with the tag. And then the final thing is just adding a little linen thread there.
Nice. Very pretty, Julie.
Thank you. I love the way this card turned out. It's just such a fun way to add a little interest to your card doing a fun fold. And I think it's funny that we both did fun folds.
We did. We did.
That always works out that way. Let's switch the camera around and show off both our cards. Oh my goodness. I have to say, when I first saw the Abigail Rose Suite, I thought of you, but I felt like it wasn't necessarily my thing. But the more that I play with it, the more that I just love these images and the soft colors in the paper. I'm definitely falling for Abigail Rose.
And you got the sweatshirt too.
Yes, I do. This is not the sweatshirt. No. It's too hot for sweatshirts right now. But whether you're a demonstrator or a customer, you can get the Abigail Rose themed hoodie in the online store. There's also a poster. I haven't gotten any of the other branded merchandise yet, but there's a poster as well.
I want to get it framed.
Yes. Did you get it already though, Mom?
It's just still all rolled up in the tube.
I feel like I don't really have a space for it in my stamp room. I don't have a lot of wall space, pretty much just what's behind me. I've got a big window and then big shelves, and then it's open. Like, I just realized that half of my room is open. The stairs are right there. And then the front door, I'm in the front of the house here. So I remember when we were looking at houses and I said, this is where I want to have my stamp room. And Jim said, can you keep it clean? And I was like, does it matter? No, I do try to clean for company, but thankfully, the front door, the way the front door opens, it sort of blocks my room. So if we just shuttle people down the little hallway, then they don't necessarily pay attention to my room. But It is kind of in the front, so there is a little more pressure to keep it clean.
Hey, do you know what we're going to do next week, Julie?
What are we doing next week?
Something from the new menu.
Oh, yes. We haven't picked it out yet, but we will do some sneak peeks from the new mini catalog. I can't believe that is just right around the corner. I'm trying to remember what's today's date. Today is the 26th. And so, yeah, just a few more days. The new catalog will start on Friday, July 1st. What?
Yeah.
June went so fast. I cannot even believe that it is almost over. So, one last reminder, if you have favorite things on the last chance list, make sure to get those before they're gone, because the January through June mini catalog ends on June 30th and the new July through December catalog will start on Friday, July 1st.
Yes, it will. Well, I think that wraps it up for this week, Julie. We will be chatting in the next couple days and kind of planning for some things coming up. So I hope you have a great week.
Thank you. You too.
Because it'll be almost the 4th of July. We should almost do a patriotic card.
I know. Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to see. We need to take a
We'll
look. I don't even remember what's in the mini catalog. Like, can we do patriotic with Christmas?
Red, white, and blue pumpkins. I don't know.
It could be an interesting challenge to do 4th of July with mini catalog stuff.
Now
You'll have to tune in and see.
Yeah, whatever we come up with, it'll be fabulous.
It always is.
In the meantime, we'll see you next Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie. Bye, everybody. Thanks for
Have
watching.
a good week. Love you, Mom.
Love you too, babe.